Hello, hello. Ooh, have I got some stories to tell you guys. I'm recording this in January of 2021, which means several things have happened since the last video. Several things. But most of them do not correspond to this video. So everything is okay. Unfortunately, there's been a delay in me actually recording this commentary because, for example, a redneck decided to use a firearm to attack our power transformers that hook up this entire section of the state with electricity. So we were missing that for a while. Yeah. Also, tonight, the night that I'm recording this, the internet is out for some reason. I hope it's because of the storms, and not because of other kinds of storms. Political storms. I don't like those. But all the same, this is a video about Nyanners. Nyanners is yet another VTuber, because I know that you guys you can't get enough of them. Right? Right. This isn't awkward at all. Right. You can't get enough of them, and you know who Nyanners is, I hope. Nyanners is a good girl? A bad girl. She's Nyanners. She's just Nyanners. So, you might want to check out one or two videos with Nyanners. I had one person describe her experience. She described her experience with Nyanners as, I really think I like her, but she makes my brain want to explode. Which I understand, that's fair. That's fair. But all the same, Nyanners is a good girl. I'm pretty certain. So that's the reason why I'm drawing her. She likes seals and honking noises and pee pee poo poo and etc. so forth. That's how it is. That's how it will always be. Now I'm drawing her. I'll just let the drawing speak for itself. How about that? We'll do that because I've got some other stuff to tell you guys. Okay, first off, I wanted to go ahead and tell you, I'm doing this on time-lapse. I record all this with Bandicam, of course, naturally. And for some reason, I recorded 7 sessions of this. And this drawing, as it turned out, took, I think, 16 hours to finally complete. Because I tried a few things that I should not have tried, which resulted in some trials of the flesh, I'll say. So, it's a long video. So to that end, I did 7 sessions, and on the 7th session, for who knows what reason, Bandicam decided to start recording another monitor. So I have about 3 hours of footage of my Discord window, which is just radical. It's fucking radical. So as a result, you won't see the last little bit of painting, but it's really not that important. It's just painting, who cares? Okay, so most of the drawing is fine though. You've probably already seen it, because I finished drawing it many days ago, and real life has just been enough of a mess that I just now got around to actually recording this particular video. Oh my god. Alright, so, Nyanners. Nyanners like seals, if you can't tell. That's one of the things that I wanted to include. I wanted to include as many things in the drawing as possible that would correspond to her personality. And she keeps adding to them, which makes it more difficult. So, to that end, she likes seals. I don't know if she likes toilets exactly, but she does talk about pee-pee poo-poo quite a lot. And she did have a toilet review a while back, which was interesting. So I'm going to assume that yes, she enjoys toilets. Don't we all? Maybe not for the same reason, but I'd say that most of us enjoy toilets. Except for the Japanese. But, you know, they have toilets. They're just weird toilets. And from what I gather, a lot of Japanese people actually detest those little squatty ones. You know what I'm talking about, right? Where they squat down and they go pee-pee-poo-poo. And, like, the squatty ones, I didn't describe that very well. But you know what I'm talking about. You have to, like, squat down. And then you go pee-pee-poo-poo right there. But apparently a lot of Japanese people do not much care for those, and would like to see them completely eradicated from reality. Although I have heard other people say that they went to Japan for the pee-pee-poo-poo. Maybe not for that, but, you know, it came up. It came up. And they said that they liked them. They might be weirdos, though. I'm not certain. But all the same, toilets exist and we like them. And Nyanners also enjoys them. So she also enjoys seals. And I can't blame her. I like seals too. I never really thought about it too much. As much as Nyanners has, apparently. But they are very fat and round. And they make honking noises. And Nyanners is very fond of making blag noises. She spells it as blag. And I can't do the... No, that mine sounds like a goat or something. No, I can't do it. I'm bad at this. I'm a cat, so I can't make... I can't make seal noises. I'm so sorry. But she makes those noises sometimes. Wait, she's a cat too. That doesn't make any sense. Fuck. I'm an untalented cat. We'll go with that. Then again, I'm drawing. My talents lie elsewhere, other than seal noises. It's okay. Everything's okay. I'm doing fine. How are you? So, seals are great. I don't much care for elephant seals, though. I guess they're not the same thing, but they're very close because they have similar names, and they both flop about the ground. But elephant seals will kill you. Have you ever seen, like, documentaries about... I don't know, I'm very weird today. Have you ever seen documentaries about how elephant seals, like bull elephant seals... I'm thinking elephant seals, aren't I? Yes, I'm thinking elephant seals. Bull elephant seals are very aggressive. And the young ones will actually, like, force themselves upon penguins. I'm serious, this happens. You need to be more politically aware. They force themselves on penguins and savage them. Sometimes to the point of death. And also, they fight one another for mates, of course, as we all do. And they will kill themselves that way, too. Although, usually with elephant seals, you either die because a big fat one rolled on top of you and killed you whenever you were young, or it's because you were killed in combat because you were trying to mate, or a big fat elephant seal bull was trying to mate with you and he killed you by rolling on top of you. Those seem to be the main causes of death when it comes to elephant seals, as far as my scientific knowledge on the matter goes. Which, admittedly, is not that much. So, I don't much care for elephant seals, but the normal ones are cute. I like those. They're very tubby and round, and they look like you could throw them like footballs, but you don't, and they're good for that reason. Not for the football reasons, but just, you know, their shape and their general demeanor. I like them. They're good. That is the extent of my knowledge about seals, though. Sometimes they're white. I also know that. I considered once I get around to it... This is going to be a long video, by the way. I considered drawing the seal as being either white or brown or mottled or something, and it took me a while to find one that I liked. But eventually I settled on it being sort of this brown mottled color, because it contrasts pretty well with Nyanners' more vibrant color scheme, which is like pink and blue and other colors, mainly black, and whatever you call skin tone, which I guess is peach, and a little bit of gold. But mostly pink. It's a lot of pink, which goes well with me. I really enjoy drawing like pastel colors, and pinks and purples and reds and things in that spectrum. I like those. I feel like I've lost a few brain cells since last year. I feel like I used to be smarter. Whenever I take a drink, my kitty avatar freaks out. I'm looking at him over here on the OBS window. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was actually watching Nyanners, I think it was... No, it was yesterday. It was yesterday. It can't be today because the internet's been out. I was watching her yesterday, and I think she was just doing a stream where she was just talking to people, or talking to the chat, and she was playing with slime or something. Slime's her new thing. I don't know why. And she, like, thought it would be funny to sit on it for some reason, because chat told her to sit on it. And I think for the next 2 hours, this is how a lot of her streams go. She sat on it, and then it, like, apparently went through her jeans? Did she wear jeans? Probably. I don't know. It went through her jeans and apparently her underwear too, into her skin. So she had to stop everything after probably about 5 minutes of going, oh no, and like screaming, which is a lot of Nyanners streams. And she created an apology video for sitting on the slime. Oh Lord. Oh. I could like taste crackers from yesterday. Oh, I love peanut butter crackers though. They're pretty low in calories. Anyways, she recorded an apology video, and that was like the whole stream. That was everything. She unpackaged something, and I'm still not really certain what it was. But then she played with slime for a while, and then screamed and apologized and made an apology video, and then spent the rest of the stream just talking about slime. That's Nyanners. I almost did a... Sorry. Kitty avatar, work. There you go. I almost did a spit take whenever I looked over at my my other monitor. Because I drank, like, apparently to the right. Like, I look over here, and that's where my kitty is, or where I can see him. And I can't move stuff. I can't move stuff right now. Because... I'm using HitFilm Express, and anytime that I use HitFilm Express, I'm reminded that whenever I try to Alt-Tab, it pauses the playback, and I've already had to start over once because of that. Because I didn't notice it, and I was just sitting here talking to no one. Very frustrating. So I can't stop to correct it, so I'll just have to drink water and laugh really hard. I'm sorry. Alright, so we're doing line work now. Line work's pretty good. I mean, not like mine, but I like well, my line work's pretty good. But, you know, just in general, line work is actually kind of a pain in the ass. But I found that working at a higher resolution and making my line work a little bit sketchier has been a little bit more fun, because I don't have to quite worry about it as much. Although I can't resist the urge to... Nyanners has actually already seen this drawing. Actually, all of you have. I don't know why I'm specified that. But she complimented how clean the line work looked, which is true in this final case, but usually I consider my line work to be very messy. Or not messy, just very sketchy looking, which you can tell that I'm doing here. It's very kind of a loose way of drawing. Nyanners can actually draw too. I was about to say something like, not on my level. She can draw on my level, for I'm a god. No, I was going to... She can draw. Like, she draws things, and whenever she has, like, a new costume, she'll post, like, the thing of the original idea that she had, like, the sort of sketch, and it's pretty good. Like, most people usually... Oh. Don't look at me like that. Stop it, kitty. Most people are like, I can't draw. I wish I could draw. I have someone in mind, by the way, if you can't tell. And I'll be like, well, then just draw it then. No, it'll look stupid. Well, if you just... Like, it doesn't have to look amazing. If you just draw the thing, then it'll be done. And... the thing about drawing is that you have to actually do it. You can't just... This is true of everything. You can't just sit around just going, I wish I could be a stockbroker. I wish I could be a dentist. I wish I could draw. You gotta do it at some point. So instead of just wishing for things, you should, whenever you have like a dumb idea for drawing, just start drawing it. And whenever you have an idea in your head that you want to be a dentist, just find someone, buy some tools off Etsy and just go to town. And whenever you make mistakes, and you will, a lot of them, you can look at your drawing and realize what those mistakes were and then correct them for the future. By the way, I know that her little kitty thing down in her outfit actually has an eye patch now, and I thought about it after doing corrections, but I had done like 3 or 4 different corrections already, so I decided, I'm just not going to bother. So it gets to keep both of its eyes for now. Unlike the people that you're practicing on if you're attempting to do dentistry without, actually knowing what you're doing. But you got to start sometime, So that's okay too. She has lots of little frills on her outfit too, which, I won't lie, drive me insane. I kind of wanted to kill someone whenever I was drawing the frills, but it's sort of fun. It was more that I wanted to draw other things, and by this point I realized that I had gotten really deep into the drawing, and I knew that there was going to be a lot that I had to draw. It was going to be so much. It was like you own a pool, but one day you walk out in the outdoor, like it's not a pool that's built on the ground. It's like an above ground pool, and there's just so many dead possums in it. There's like probably 8 dead possums and 3 dead raccoons, and also somehow a doe, like a deer, a female deer, had also wandered into the pool during the night, and this all occurred in the same night. And now there's just a bunch of bloated dead animals floating inside of the pool, and somehow the necrosis got to them really fast. And now they're like bloated, but like since they're facing up into the air, and they don't turn over because they bloat real fast, then like the top side that's facing the air is really foul smelling and necrotic. So it smells terrible, but also it has like that wet, like animal fur smell because of the lower half of the animals. And the whole thing is just a bad time. So drawings like that, it's like finding a pool full of dead raccoons and possums and a single dead deer, a doe female deer, and you have to get rid of it. And it's just a lot of work. And you think to yourself, well, it can't be that bad. Maybe I'll get the deer out first. Like, you got a plan. First you wonder to yourself, do I get out the possums first? Do I get out the raccoons? The deer certainly is going to be the biggest problem. And I'm speaking from personal experience here. So you think to yourself, should I get it out of the way first, or do I save it for last? Is this going to be a 2-day project, or is it going to be an all-day project? So you think to yourself, maybe I can just power through because I've got stuff that I need to get done tomorrow. I can't let this get in the way of my daughter's recital. So you have to get it done that day. So you make the mistake of first trying to get rid of the deer, because you would think that that would be the wise course of action, to get rid of the deer first. But it's so big. And more than that, the smaller things, like especially the possums. Whenever you fish out the possums, that'll give you life experience that you need to fish out the rest of the dead animals. Whereas if you try to start with the deer or, even the raccoons, then it's going to be that much more of a problem. But the fact that you're starting small with the dead possums gives you just enough information so that you will learn and grow as a person, so that you will know how to get rid of dead animals that have, live animals. Live animals that fell into the pool and became dead, and now you're fishing them out. That'll help you. So that's like drawing. Whenever you're trying to draw something, like what I'm doing here, this is a deer. Like Nyanners erupting out of a toilet and petting a seal, that's deer work. And you don't want to start with deer work. So anytime that you're like, I can't draw, it's too hard, I'll just think about it. I'll fantasize about what it would be like if I could actually draw, and then I'll pay other people to do it. Because that's what most people do. Instead of doing that, instead of trying to tackle the deer first, you should instead try to tackle the possums. So that's what I used to do. And I've told you guys this before. So if you go to my DeviantArt, and you ignore all the, like, Warhammer 40k sex images, well, I guess you can ignore them. They're the most important part of this lesson. Like, the 40k, like, sex images, those are like dead possums. Or really not dead possums. In this case, it'd probably be more like, you know, like a dead squirrel. In this scenario, also, there were squirrels. That's part of the problem. Whenever you were fishing out that dead deer first, you exhausted yourself too quickly. And at this point, oh, by the way, I actually started streaming this in Discord because I wanted to try doing that. And I figured, well, I'm doing this for Nyanners anyway, so I may as well do it for her Discord. She also has a Discord, by the way. Nyanners has a Discord, and I went in there and I streamed for it, and she saw some of it, and she posted that picture of herself as a reference image because I was having problems finding a reference image. That's what happened. That's the reason why that appeared just now. Anyways, in this scenario, there are also dead squirrels. Live squirrels that were once... They were alive, and because they fell in the pool, they couldn't get out and they died. There are many things that you could probably do to a pool. I've never actually owned a pool. I know people... I've been in pools, and I have been around people that have pools, but I've never owned one myself. Not to detract from my personal life experience, but you get what I'm saying here. So, I imagine there's quite a few things you could do to try to help animals not die whenever they're wandering in the pools, but it happens because drawing is difficult. So there's dead squirrels now, and if you're not careful, there'll be dead birds. I'm not sure how birds die in pools, but it happens. And, you know, we just have to deal with it. So there's dead squirrels. So those Warhammer 40k pictures are like dead squirrels. They're not very good. Not that dead squirrels are good, but they're not very good, but they're still a problem. Much like Warhammer 40k. And you spend time getting rid of them, and that will teach you life lessons about how to draw. Warhammer 40k, I mean. And once you draw enough stupid pictures about Warhammer 40k, or Glee, or Skeleton Warriors, which was a cartoon that aired on CBS in the 1990s. Anything really. I don't know why I focused on those three things. As long as you just focus on doing things that are simple and stupid, then you'll learn enough life lessons so that you will be able to have the gall and the focus and the willpower to be able to haul the bloated deer carcass out of the water and onto the ground. Just long enough to realize that now you have a bloated, festering deer carcass that's in your lawn, and you don't know what to do with it. Sorry, I got choked up there for a second. We used to have this dog that would eat anything. We used to have these dogs that would... Most dogs do. They'll eat pretty much anything. You have to keep them away from things. But these ones in particular. So one time, my brother, who likes to hunt things, or used to, he doesn't much anymore, and he's also kind of crazy, killed a deer, or he hit a deer, I think. I think he hit a deer. Maybe he found it, like on the side of the road. I can't remember. But he got it in his head to bring it back for them, and he had to cut it in two. And this is Kentucky, by the way. I live in Kentucky, if you can't tell. So, I think I've told this story before. He cut this deer in two, which took a while because we were using, like, machetes. And we had the unfortunate result of hitting its dung sac. That's not really a sac, but, you know, we hit the area of its body in which most of the doo-doo is stored, much like a bank vault. And upon hitting the bank vault door, which shattered, releasing the Al Capone-like cornucopia of feces, I had to get out of there. That was a problem. I mean, the dogs eventually ate it all, but, you know, for a while, that was an issue. You know, I didn't want to go outside because of the stink. The dogs didn't mind, but I'm not a dog, I'm a cat. So, you know, it just doesn't align with my philosophy. When it comes to drawing, when it comes to drawing, you have to find dogs that are willing to eat the filth that you have created on your lawn, because animals wandered into your pool. So, I guess the metaphor that I'm trying to create here is... I'm not really sure. The metaphor that I'm trying to create here is... whenever you are drawing things online, if you want to improve, first you can't really care too much about what the result is going to be. You need to be reckless and foolish. And choose your battles. You know, get the squirrels out first. But perhaps more importantly, after you've gotten those squirrels out, you also need to have dogs that are willing to eat a festering squirrel carcass. So to that end, I guess the metaphor would be, you need to have a good Twitter profile that has enough links to a particular community that will be willing to consume whatever you put out, no matter what the quality happens to be. Did it. Fuck yeah, did it. So a good example of that would be probably Undertale, or maybe Roblox. I can't remember what are they called? What are the things that are like Transformers? What are the things? I just remembered. Bionicle. I'm sorry. I forgot that it was Bionicle. So whenever you're fishing, your horrid, like, festering carcasses out of the pool, just find a Roblox community or like the Bionicle community. They don't care, man. They're supportive. They don't give a shit. Hey, man, as long as you can draw something and it's in your heart and you do right by what's in your heart, it doesn't really matter what results, you know? As long as there's no crime. As long as there's no crime involved, you're good. So, the first time, actually, this has come up, I don't know if I can mention this or not. Because I can't remember what day it is. Actually, hold on. What is today? Today's Thursday. Okay. I can probably mention this then. I was helping with a little thing that we're doing for Nyanners. I won't mention too much. So I've already mentioned this and that. But the first time that I actually met Nyanners, so to speak, the first time that I became aware of Nyanners, I should say, was, I've drawn other pictures of her, if you caught that in a split second. The first time that I actually saw her, and I didn't realize it at the time, was whenever Indivisible came out. And, if you guys remember, rest in peace, Lab Zero, of course. That's a whole other thing. I'm not going to explain all that. Ooh. But with Indivisible, I was one of the people that back the game with a backer character. Like, you contribute so much money and you got your own character in the game. And I did that mainly because I really, really wanted all the artists that were involved in Indivisible to... Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm, like, still getting... I ate, what did I eat? What did I eat? What did I eat? What did I eat? Oh, I ate some barbecue pork earlier. That's what's coming back up. Sorry, it wasn't crackers after all. And here I'm doing some... Sorry, I'm going around and doing exterior line work because the broader the line work on the exterior of the model, then the easier it is to see. So I'll go through and I'll do that on the exterior for mainly the body. You can also do that with hair, but hair is so fine that you have to be very careful with it. Anyway, sorry. What the hell was I talking about? Oh, rest in peace, Lab Zero. But I did that mainly because I wanted to make sure that all the artists stayed together, because I really liked what they produced as a result of that. Like Skullgirls, for example. I have no interest in fighting games whatsoever, but every so often I'll buy one and not even play it, just for the sake of showing support. Like I did that with Fighter Z. I've never launched it. I don't know a single thing about fighting games, really. But I really like what the general idea and what they were doing with it, and the impression that I got from other people that do enjoy such things was that they were doing a bang-up job. So I thought, well, I like the idea of this. Maybe one day I'll futz around in it when I'm sure that no one's looking and can make fun of me and bully me. So sometimes I'll endorse things for that reason. The same thing with Indivisible. I had really no interest in the gameplay whatsoever. It was apparently really heavily based off Valkyrie Profile. Profile? Was that what it was? I think so. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I thought about it. But the gameplay of that, whatever that game was, I think it was that, I had no interest in it. From what I gathered before it even came out, I thought, it doesn't really look like it's going to be much of anything for me. Whenever it finally did come out, then yeah, I did not care for the gameplay. Its systems didn't really make any sense. And at first I thought... I did like a preview of it on my channel a long time ago. And I was playing through the early access, like, alpha release that they did. It was like a demo, very short. And I couldn't make any sense out of the combat system. I could not understand what the goals of it were. And when the final game came out, after playing it for a while, I realized, oh, because even they weren't really sure what they were doing. And a lot of it was just because you can't, if you're a fighting game developer, you can't make an RPG, especially when you don't seem to have any respect for RPGs. But completely unrelated subject. Anyways, I did back the game because I really wanted the artists to stick together. That was the sorry, that's my point. And they probably would have if not for the whole Mike Z thing. By the way, I tried to replicate what I saw on her shirt here, those characters, but for the life of me, I have no idea what they mean, and I'm not even sure if that first primary character is what that shape is, since her hair strand is blocking it. Anyways, but Nyanners was also a background character. She apparently, or someone did for her, I have no idea what the context is, contributed enough money to get a character in the... I can't remember the name of the city. It's like... Kaifeng, or it's something like that. But it's the area that was sort of more Korean, Japanese, Chinese sort of themed in a way. Very vibrant sort of future city metropolis sort of thing. You know, that sort of dealio. And it was a pretty neat little area. But she was in there. And she was one of the very first backer characters that you came across. And she was the, of course, Pink Cat Girl character. And I remember the first time seeing her. The first time I saw her, I had several mixed reactions. Because, one, I thought, wow, this character must have, whoever endorsed this character must have quite the backstory behind them. Like, something's going on here, and I wonder what it is. And now I know. But anyways, my other reaction was, but also this character's kind of hot. So I had the brief inclination to draw that character, but then I thought better of it and I didn't do that. But I almost wish I had, just because then I would be able to bring up that picture that does not exist and go, and this is what I thought of her at the time. And it would be pornography. No, it wouldn't be pornography. It would be something, though. So, that was the first time I ever actually saw Nyanners in any capacity that I remember. I don't appreciate that whenever I do that, my cat freaks out. Alright, sorry. But that's the very first time that I saw her. I can't remember what the first video that I saw of her was. But I think the first one may have been one of her trucker videos. Maybe. It was probably just a clip. I probably saw clips of her first. That's probably what happened. But she really started taking off around the time of her Avatar debut. And she did stuff before that, which is... I think she's trying to put it behind her. So it's really none of anyone's business. She's having one of those things where she like has images of herself online, and because if you put something online, it's just gonna stay there forever. So she can't quite get rid of it, unfortunately, which I feel bad for her. But you know, them's the breaks when it comes to the internet, isn't it? I probably shouldn't have mentioned that. Maybe I'm an asshole now too. But if you type in Nyanners, that's one of the first things you find. That's one of the reasons why I was having trouble finding a reference image, and I'm thankful that she gave me one, because most of the images that you find are just one quarter shots of the avatar. So it's difficult to find things of her actual outfit, especially the lower half. Actually, the little frills on the bottom of her jacket, that's actually supposed to be a skirt, but I shortened it intentionally because I wanted to draw her spats. And I wanted to draw her little spats, which I think are not actually called spats, but everyone calls them spats. Whatever. I wanted to draw them because they're sexy. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. But it's fine, it's fine. So, here we go with the actual... painting phase of it. I started with the eyes because with all the VTubers and with modern anime and everything in that sort of realm, eyes are always extraordinarily detailed, so I just wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way. And it's kind of important to replicate what the eyes look like exactly if you can, which I don't think I did exactly, but I got close enough. So, just putting that out there. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But yeah, I think one of the first things that I saw of her were her trucker videos, where she plays American Truck Simulator, I think is the name of it, and just drives around talking to herself. And she typically gets the same way that I got earlier, and that I get whenever I start talking to myself for too long. Which is I go insane. So you can see what the appeal of Nyanners happens to be, because she does sort of lose her mind sometimes, but that's okay. Also somewhat like myself, arguably, despite also being crazy, she's also a very sincere person. So if you know, there are some people online that do the whole, like, e-boy, e-girl thing, or even sometimes they're also VTubers, but they're not sincere, they're not genuine. They're really more concerned about the money, and they'll, like, berate their followers for not giving enough, or not donating enough that day or something. Like, they see it almost like a business, and like they're being good business people by haranguing their followers for money, or they do other weird things. Nyanners is not like that at all. She's a very sincere, very open person. Well, not open in the sense of she's available, but you know, she wears her heart on her sleeve, I should say. So anytime that you see her actually, I'd be careful what I say. Anytime that you see her making sure that you are aware that she's genuine, you can be absolutely certain that she is genuine. She's a very good person. She may have... Anytime that I say anything about anyone online, then I'm sure there's going to be one person, well, they did this thing in January of 1933, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll have to, like, you're going to get canceled if you don't, blah, 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 blah. That happens all the time. But from what I have seen and what I know of her, she's a genuinely good person. That's as far as my tiny animal brain is going to take it. So if... I was Googling for pictures of seals. I forgot for a second. Yes, power. I was Googling for pictures of seals, and Google put a picture of Seal the artist on the sidebar. Sorry. But anytime any discussion of someone online comes up, there's always going to be some story from someone somewhere about someone doing something bad at some point. Same thing with me, too. Even though I'm known in general as being a good person, I hope, and being good-natured and just trying to help other people and things of that, things like that. I thought that picture was funny. Ever so often you will run into people that are like, oh, I hate him. He said this about Naruto or whatever it is. Or they heard something, or they saw a screen cap of one Twitter comment from like 7 years ago, and that has stained their image of me for the rest of time. That's like, that always is gonna happen. Stop freaking out, kitty, just because I'm drinking. It's especially a problem, like, Nyanners has good friends. She hangs out with other people on Viz Shoujo, which is sort of a Hololive-like company that has popped... I'm not going to go into the background and everything of it, but it's popped up in the past couple months, I think? I think it was 2 months ago, whenever they started that. At the very end of October, or the very end of November. I can't quite remember. Anyways, a lot of her friends that she hangs out with also are part of that as well. It extends beyond that as well, of course. A lot of the Hololive girls also follow some of the Vsojo girls. It's very cute, very wholesome. Anyways, the girls there... I'm drawing water, by the way. The girls there also are... even if you... Like, I can see how some people may not like some of the girls. Because some of them can have, like, attitude. Not problems, but, they can have attitude. Like, the sort that you need to survive on the internet. I'll say it that way. And some people might rub them the wrong way, or whatever. But, they're all very good-natured. I like all of them. Nyanners is probably my favorite of the bunch. Of the DK crew. But they're all very good, genuine people. I would recommend watching any of them. But she's done a good job of choosing her friends. I was trying to remember where I was leading into this. But there's always some sort of weird drama when it comes to interacting with anyone online. But even with some of the people that I've chosen to make friends with online, ever so often there will be some sort of weird controversy about someone said something at some point, and I never want to get involved in any of that. There's always some sort of weird internet drama when it comes to, especially online personalities interacting with one another, and I just don't care about any of it. If it was up to me, I would try to get along with everyone, but ever so often there's one or two people that are just angry all the time about something that happened at one point and they can't let it go. They want to make it everyone else's business, and if you're friends with someone, they want to start a fight with you even though they don't know you, and it becomes a thing. But that's the business that we work in, unfortunately. But thankfully, with all the girls, there's none of that. It's very genuine. None of them are bad or controversial people. I'm sure there's a story somewhere from someone, but who cares? Who cares? I certainly don't give a shit myself. Anyways, so don't say anything bad about Nyanners or I will cut you. That's the takeaway here. That's the takeaway. All right, so Here, contrary to my advice from earlier, whenever I started drawing or doing the shading, I went for the deer first, which is the hair. The hair is by far the most complicated thing to shade, other than arguably maybe the skin. Skin, as I've been over before, is a pain in the butt to actually try the shade. Don't much care for that. No, I don't much care for that. But I went for the deer because I wanted to get the hair out of the way first, because in this case, I put so much emphasis on the hair and how it was flowing, what it looked like, its shape, its volume, and I was thinking maybe I was going to do something with the lighting, so that sort of panicked me as well. So I wanted to make sure that I got it done first in order to not tire myself out later with the hair. But since I'm experienced with these things, I've dug deer out of the pool before, I knew I could handle it. So in my case, even though do as I say, not as I do, in my case, I knew I could handle this, so that's the reason why I went for the throat. But otherwise, you should probably do the hair last if you're doing something in a big full body shot. Otherwise, you might go insane. Maybe. Okay. Another thing I've been dealing with lately is I contracted something back in October? Late October. I contracted something. It may have been the Rona. I don't know. But I got it because my brother he doesn't live here, but he comes over here and he decided to just start coughing all over everything one day, and as a result, I'm pretty sure that whatever he had is what I got. Because he is not a wise person, I'll say it that way. He's not very considerate. A lot of my family members are not particularly considerate. My father was not considerate, and that is what was passed down in the genes to my brother. Yes, indeed. I'm a bit more like my mother, I should say. Actually, I'm a bit more like... It's weird how genes work. Like, sometimes I worry that if I had kids, I wouldn't want them to gain the attributes that I consign to my family line, certainly. But a lot of my behavior, I find, is something that I share in common with sort of my mother. But mainly, it's from my mother's grandmother's side of the family. Most of my behavior seems to be more similar to how that distant side of the family acts. It's very strange. Which, not to say, I'm so different from my family. No, just, you know. You always are rolling the dice when it comes to what your kids are always... It seems like, I have lots of kids. You're always rolling the dice. I speak from experience. No, just... Whenever you pass down genes, you're kind of rolling the dice in regards to what exactly you're going to get in a lot of cases. And in my case, it seems like I didn't inherit too much from my main family branch. A lot of it came from other sections of the family that people never really think about too much. It's kind of strange. Anyways. I behave slightly different as a result. This is my point I was trying to make. So I'm more cautious when it comes to trying to be considerate of other people. I'm known as being a bit more empathetic. Not sympathetic, but empathetic. I try to be considerate of other people. I do weird little things, like I try not to slam doors, I close them very quietly. Just little itty-bitty things that most people never really think about. I try to be very considerate of little bitty things. Anyways, so... All the same, I got infected with something. That was what I was trying to get at. So as a result of getting infected with something, I was sick for a while. And I had this episode, I think I've already discussed this, but I had this weird episode of, I was lying in bed trying to go to sleep, and all of a sudden I I realized that my thoughts were getting really disjointed, and I was having a hard time trying to think, and all the thoughts that I was thinking were getting intermixed, and I found that like for a brief second, I felt like I was losing my mind, like something was going on in my brain, and then I felt this rush of something, of chemicals, like, hit me, like, in my head, and I think at that moment I had, like, a panic attack or something, because for, like, the next 6 or 7 hours, I was completely disabled, and I was, like, crawling on the ground, and took my blood pressure, and it was really, really high, and I felt like I was having trouble thinking, and I was just in a panic. Just not a good... It was an episode of something, but... Anyways, for, like, the next 2 months, I was suffering from all sorts of weird symptoms that I couldn't quite place. And I still sort of am, to some degree. But what I'm getting at here is that I've had some weird thing going on with my eyes lately. And some of that I think is from the fact that I'm using a newish... I got it a few months ago. But I'm using this 144K, or 44K, 144 hertz monitor, which I'm not used to. And it also has a curvature to it that I'm also sort of not used to. And my prescription and my contacts also changed, which I've since resolved. But even after that, this problem didn't go away. Whenever I look at my monitor, I feel this weird disorientation, and it doesn't go away until I either look at something that's very far away, or if I get very far away from the monitor. But I did notice that it does go away if I take my contacts out. It's still there, but it's not as bad. So I ordered a pair of glasses, which apparently I'm not used to glasses anymore because it does this weird lensing effect with my head, which really made me disoriented as well. Just, there's been all sorts of weird things going on with my eyes and sort of my nasal cavities, and I don't know what it is. So as a result, whenever I'm recording this is why I'm mentioning it, I've tried to do this several times, and the past couple of times that I've tried to do this, I couldn't because I was getting so disoriented that I felt like I was either going to pass out, or I was like I mentally got to the point where I couldn't really focus. I was like so incredibly distracted by this weird pressure that I had on my eyes and this weird disorientation. And I still sort of feel it, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was before. So, I'm trying to see what my timeline looks like. 52 minutes, okay, good. So with this one in particular, for some reason, whenever I draw, I'm very close to the screen. I guess that's why it is. But I was able to complete this drawing, even though I was getting really disoriented during some parts of it. I was able to complete this drawing as a result, because I was able to just stare at something in a very close way, I guess. But whenever I was done drawing for these sessions, the reason why I had 7 sessions, the reason why it took so long, is because of this. Also, it's a very complicated drawing. But whenever I got done with these sessions, I would have this weird sensation of like being completely overwhelmed and like exhausted, like amazingly exhausted for some reason, and wanting to disengage with everything around me to the point that even if like if I tried to watch a video or something, it would exhaust me, and if someone tried to talk to me, I wouldn't be able to respond to them. It was very, very frustrating. So, whatever that was, I hope I don't get it again. That would be nice. But anyways, I was trying to mention all that because, like, here I'm, like, pausing for prolonged periods. I mentioned that just because right now I'm also sort of having that, so if I kind of go distant and lose my focus, that's what's going on. Also, if I did get stupider in the past few months, that's what caused it. Because I actually have felt like I've gotten dumber in the past 3 or so months. More than that, I felt like as you get older, you will feel stupider. Like, even though I'm much more informed than I used to be whenever I was younger, I can tell that my ability to process information quickly and to be able to rely on a vocabulary that was far more extensive whenever I was younger, that's diminished quite a bit as I've gotten older. But I've also gotten dumber. Like, your brain operation does slow down. Have I mentioned that Nyanners apparently, I think she might be a little bit closer to my age than she is to probably most of yours. I think. There's not much I know about her personal life, and it's none of my business. But I think one of the jokes that she often rolls with is the idea that she's a boomer, which she is not. But she's probably like in her... I don't know if she's in her 30s or not, but she's probably like her late 20s, certainly. Considering that she says that she grew up with Ocarina of Time, watching her brother play it. Which would probably place her... I'm being creepy by even talking about it. I feel like I'm being creepy, so I'm just gonna stop talking about it. The point being, just with that, is that part of what made me feel more connected with her life experiences is the fact that I shared similar life experiences. So I think we're probably in the same age range in general. Plague loves Nyanners. I do. Shut up. Alright, so anyways. So what the hell was I talking about anyways? Oh, she also has had experiences getting slightly older, I think. And she's nowhere near being... I'm certainly older than she is. I was born in 82, so I'm probably quite a bit older than she is, if I had to guess. But this is one of the things you deal with whenever you get older. You start getting stupid. You start forgetting things, and you start losing track of where you put your keys. You can't remember how old you were, you can't remember what day it was, and everything starts getting fuzzy. And as you continue to get weird diseases and shit as you get older, you take more damage to your health bar. And whenever you take too much damage to your health bar, your stats get lower. And when your stats get lower, you get stupid. So I feel like I've gotten stupider. So to that end, I need to concentrate after this on... And here we are, the final result, I guess. I need to concentrate more on putting out more Little Gripe videos. Those will be fun. I have one or two things in mind, but I'm a little bit still exhausted. Just because of all the stuff I've been having to deal with over the past few months. It's funny how it builds up over time. You would think, especially whenever you're younger, that it doesn't matter. That you can just power through anything, but... that goes away after a while. Yes, it does. So as you can see, I lost a lot of the video at the very end. I still technically have it, but I don't think you want to see 3 hours of watching my Discord go by, so let's not worry about that. I also released this on Twitter and then updated it by adding some sparkles, and I also filled in some of her little hair loopies over there. Her hair loopies did not have the toilet completely filled out, so I fixed that. But you didn't see the time process of that because all the background imagery and all the painting stuff for that is stuff that occurred in the final 3 hours, apparently. So, this is my almost 16-hour-long drawing of Nyanners. I hope you enjoyed it. Because that was a great big pool full of dead orphans. They're orphans now. Like, what do you think? Well, like, what's more of a problem? Like, sure, the deer is one thing, but what if it was just like 5 children that have no parents? Like, they're orphans, specifically. If there are 5 children that have no parents, orphans, then sure, you need to tell someone, but you don't have to be in a rush about it. And they're smaller than deer. Like a deer, especially one that's waterlogged, that's going to take a while to roll out to the nearest woodland area. Or I guess you could call someone, but that costs money. And, you know, everyone's money pressed these days. So with orphans specifically, you know, they probably have already entered the phase where they're very stiff. So you could probably, like, I don't know, roll out like a burlap sack. Or just use some, like, some baling twine and, like, loop them all together. Although I guess you really don't need to. The police would probably they would probably wonder why exactly there were so many dead orphans in your pool. So you could probably just get them to do it. That's really the best thing about having dead orphans in your pool, is that you can just call the police and they'll do all the work for you. Whereas with deer or squirrels, you know, that's up to you. You can't call the police about that. So pray for orphans whenever you walk outside in the morning. No, just I'm sorry. This is probably a metaphor that has long since met its expiration date. Anyways, thank you for joining me. Nyanners, I hope you didn't watch this video for obvious reasons. And certainly if you watched to this point, I'm deeply sorry. But all the same, I wish you well. I'm sorry about Michigan. So long, everyone. See you next time. Bye-bye.